Hello, this is Pauline Jennings. Welcome to Musician Talk. Hello and welcome to the third of a three-part series to celebrate Rock and Roll Revival 25 by speaking to those involved. The first show was with director Ray Coudray, the second with two student musicians, Kai Legvold and Dave Shelby. You can find those shows at entertainmentguidemn.com. And today I'm speaking with Ella Andrew and Peyton Sullivan, two Northfield High School student soloists in the show. They both love being in the show, both in 2019 and now. And these two young women are very impressive singers. So much so that when they didn't have recordings of their singing, I decided to get them in the studio to record them with backing tracks so I could share with you their talent. So, along with talk of their rock and roll revival experiences, you get to hear them sing. So let's do it. Let's talk with Peyton Sullivan and Ella Andrew. Hi, and welcome Peyton and Ella to Musician Talk.
Hi.
How are you doing? Hi. I know both of you were in the 2019 Rock and Roll Revival show. And I'll ask you, Ella, first, how is this different compared to 2019? I'm sure there's a ton of differences.
Well, for starters, it's a lot more independent rehearsal. Even though each person is in fewer songs overall, I know I am. Last time I think I was in 5 songs, but this time I'm only in 2 or 3. But there's a lot of individual work that goes into rehearsal, especially dance rehearsals, because there's no way to get everyone rehearsing together in person safely, especially for the opener and closer, which is fine for the smaller songs or rehearse in person since the groups are smaller. But there's a lot of independent rehearsal with the opener and closer. So that's probably the main thing that stands out to me as different.
Peyton, so what has this meant for you for learning the songs, having the smaller groups, probably not getting together as often? How has it changed the way that you've gone about learning your parts?
Yeah, it's definitely very different from 2 years ago. Basically for me, Sherry posted like dancing videos for it.
And this is Sherry Setchell, who is the choreographer.
Yeah.
Okay.
So just a lot of watching those on my own time. But then when we do get in person as a small group, I think it's actually been a lot better than like a large group because you get a lot more one-on-one time with Sherry and a lot more help.
That's a silver lining right there. It means a lot more work for Sherry, but that's nice. Yeah, it's wonderful. So that's one silver lining. What's the biggest challenge, Ella?
The biggest challenge for me is probably that I don't get the social aspect of rock and roll this time around. For example, I'm singing lead on a song and I don't have any backup singers. So all of my rehearsals, it's just me in a room with Bob Gregory Bjorklund, our music director. I'm very grateful to have time to spend with him, but it's sad that I don't get to talk to my peers about the show. And another disappointing aspect is that last year I had almost all the songs in the show memorized by heart because I could just sit in on other people's rehearsals. And I can't do this time around, which is disappointing because I really like watching all of my friends succeed and watching them perform.
How about you, Peyton? You're nodding your head. What were you thinking as she was saying those things?
Yeah, I agree. It's very different not being able to be with like all my friends that are in it. Cause like I remember from 2 years ago, it was just so much fun. And it's still a lot of fun. And I've gotten like a really, really close with the girls in my group that I wasn't friends with before. And that's great.
And it's not just about having fun. The camaraderie that you have and the social aspect of theater and a variety show like this or music, putting music together, it helps actually make the show better. Those bonds that you create as you rehearse, you can read each other better while you're having that fun and making those connections. It's enhancing what you're doing too, your performance. Okay, so let's turn to you guys individually and when you started singing and why you started singing. Is there music in your house? Just kind of take me back to when you were little and starting to sing. Go ahead, Peyton. How about we start with you?
Um, I don't even know when I started singing. I've been singing since I was like a baby.
Got it.
Just my whole life, been singing, did choir in elementary school and 2 years of high school. So yeah, I've just been singing basically my whole life.
When did you take your step out of harmonizing in a choir, and when was the first time you stepped out into the spotlight to be the soloist, to be the lead singer? You remember
Well, I
that?
never had a lead in choir, but honestly, probably the first rock and roll show, because I had a lead that year too, and that was the first time I think I sung alone.
Awesome. And how'd that feel? Do you remember that feeling?
Yeah, it was I was very nervous, but
Mhm.
I loved it. By the last show, it was just so much fun.
We talked about this a little bit with Kai and Dave this last week. That nervousness that you have before show is good for you. Unless it's debilitating, of course, then that's not good. But you get the adrenaline going. Once you stand on stage, do you find that your nervousness goes away once you start singing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I think I just get like wrapped up in the song and just forget all about it.
That's great. That shows that you're meant to be there. I think if those knees stop rattling as soon as you start, doing your craft, that's wonderful. How about you, Ella? When did you start singing? Do you remember?
I've also been a singer for a long, long time. There's an embarrassing story of me in kindergarten in which there was an attached bathroom in our kindergarten classroom. And I went to the bathroom
coming.
and the teacher had to ask me to stop singing while I was using the bathroom because it was distracting my classmates from learning their alphabet. So
Great.
yeah, so I've been singing for a while.
Yeah, there's great acoustics in the bathroom.
There's
So
great acoustics.
great.
You know what? They were enjoying my performance,
I think
but
so.
I joined choir in the 8th grade and I've been doing choir ever since. And I do a lot of theater, so I've done some musicals.
And when did you first take that step from being in the group singing to being a lead voice?
In 8th grade, I tried out for some solos in choir. I was part of an a cappella group that our choir teacher put together as well, and I had a solo there. And I was in the 8th grade musical, and I played Santa Claus, and I had a solo for that as well. So
Wonderful. So, do you have any plans for continuing singing professionally at all, or just continuing to try to be in choirs and groups as you do other things in your life? What are you thinking about that?
I would love to continue singing as long as I possibly can.
Right.
I don't know if I can make a career out of it, but I would love to at least incorporate it as a hobby. If I could get some gigs, I would love that. I casually write music, so that might be an option in the future. But we'll have to see if I meet any instrumentalists that I get along with.
Have you guys done any recording
Like
in a studio? Yeah.
No.
Okay. Ella?
I have to end my statement. I have recorded in a studio in someone's house before. I sang backup vocals for Robbie Swenson's newest album.
Awesome. Which one is that?
I believe the album is titled Anorexia.
Okay. Yeah, I think that I interviewed him and heard a lot of it. In fact, he sent us the whole album. It's really great. And where he chose to put backup singers is wonderful. And a studio in a home is a studio. So good for you. I'm pausing the interview here to play for you the song I'm Not the Only One by Sam Smith, sung by Ella. We recorded this in Record You Studios at my home. There's no setup of the tune in our discussion or any comments about it afterward because Ella chose the song and we recorded it after our Zoom interview. So here it is. Take a listen.
can't believe you let me down, but the proof's in the way it hurts. For months on end I've had my doubts, denying every tear. I wish this would be over now, but I know that I still need you here. You say I'm crazy, 'cause you don't think I know what you've done. But when you call me baby, I know I'm not the only one. You've been so unavailable. Now sadly I know why. Your heart is unobtainable, even though Lord knows I try. You say I'm crazy, but you don't think I know what you've done. But when you call me baby, I know I'm not the only one. I have loved you for many years. Maybe I am just not enough. You made me realize my deepest fears by lying and tearing us up. You say I'm crazy, 'cause you don't think I know what you've done. But when you call me baby, I know I'm not the only one. You say I'm crazy, 'cause you don't think I know what you've done. Oh, but when you call me baby, I know I'm not the only one. I know I'm not the only one. I know I'm not the only one. And I know, 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 I know I'm not the only one.
This is host Pauline Jennings, and you're listening to Musician Talk. You just heard uber talented singer, Northfield High School senior Ella Andrews sing I'm Not the Only One by Sam Smith, which we recorded at our studio after our interview conversation. So let's move on to Rock and Roll Revival. I am interested in, you guys were in the show 2 years ago. Did that mean you were grandfathered in this year, or did you still have to audition?
We still had to audition this year, but there was less. I was less afraid of not getting in, first
Yes,
of all.
I bet.
And even though there are fewer songs this year and therefore fewer solo spots, knowing that I had a lead previously meant that I was feeling pretty calm about where I was going to get placed in the show.
And what song did you audition with?
I auditioned with Baby One More Time by Britney Spears.
Why did you pick that? That's great. An unlikely choice.
It is an unlikely choice, and it's not exactly rock and roll. But I do enjoy a good Britney Spears song. I really like that Britney Spears is an alto, because I don't feel like we hear enough alto pop artists. And it also means that the song is very comfortable in my range. And it's vocally kind of challenging, but not so challenging that I couldn't reliably sing it for an audition, but challenging enough that I can show off a little with some riffs.
Oh, that's great. That's perfect choice for an audition tune. And then you got a solo. And what solo are you singing in Rock and Roll Revival this time?
I am singing White Rabbit by Jefferson Airplane.
How does that one go?
One pill makes you larger and one pill makes you small.
That is great. That's great. Okay, so Peyton, tell us your audition story.
I I picked a weird song. I picked Dead Mom from Beetlejuice.
Oh my, I don't know. How does that one go? I can't
It's
think of that.
Dead Mom, Dead Mom, I need a little help here. It's a very interesting song.
Yes, another unlikely choice. So why did you choose it?
It really showed off my range. I think that's the main reason I chose it. I sang it for my parents and they were like, "Oh my gosh, you have to sing that one."
Are you a soprano?
Well, when I was in choir, I was a soprano too.
Okay, got it. So you could sing some of those higher notes maybe that Ella and I can't get to. Peyton, what song are you singing for Rock and Roll Revival?
Girls Just Want to Have Fun by Cyndi Lauper.
Oh, fun. Do you guys both have music in your households? Did you grow up with a lot of music? Oh, Ella, go ahead.
My mom was always a singer. She always did choir growing up. She got a music scholarship to college.
Oh, wow.
So she and I would always play music when we were cooking in the kitchen or doing dishes. So I grew up singing with my mom a lot.
Oh, that's nice. How about you, Peyton?
Not really. My mom sings just like for fun and like sometimes at church, but other than that, no actual musicians in my family.
So what do you think drew you to it?
I don't really know. I think once I like grew up and actually heard myself sing and realized like, wow, I can actually do this pretty well, then I got really more into it. And I just love music like so much. So
Well, I wanted to get into this later, but why don't we just transition there to why do you love music? Why is it important to you?
I think it's kind of like an escape from reality, honestly. Like it's just like once I start singing, I don't think about like the bad things in life. It's just like me and music. Like that's it. It's just like a great escape for me and like it makes me really in touch with my emotions also. I feel like cuz I mean there's music for every mood that you're in.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that because if I'm sad, I'll sing sad music. Or if I'm happy, it's happy music.
And do you feel that it helps you work through those emotions too? It doesn't by singing a sad song, at least I find, it doesn't keep me in the sadness. It actually allows me to release the sadness. How about
Yeah,
you?
for sure. I agree with that. Definitely.
What a great tool to have your whole life, right?
Mhm.
To be able to turn to that in your times of need and also in your times of joy.
Mhm.
Do you have anything for me, Ella, on that?
I got a few reasons.
Okay.
For starters, I'm good at it and I tend to like things I'm good at.
We all do. That's human. That's exactly right.
It reminds me of my mom, which is always a good thing for me. I love my mom. I love being part of a community, and I feel like music creates and fosters really excellent community and really good relationships with other musicians, especially if you're doing choirs or if you're collaborating with other artists. Of course, I love that I can incorporate it into theater, which is another one of my passions, with musicals. I also use it as like a good outlet for any time that I need to really put my thoughts down on paper. I find it easier to write music than I find writing journals.
I mean, think of all the richness that brings to your life. And I think that part of that, the bond that you said that's a little different when you are doing art with somebody is that you're so vulnerable. And you have to trust those around you so quickly with so much that the bond comes really usually pretty quickly and pretty deeply. And now here's my second break to set up the song that Peyton sang and we recorded post-interview, called We Don't Have to Take Our Clothes Off by RRR. Here it is without further ado.
Not a word from your lips. You just took for granted that I want to. Skinny dip, quick hit. That's your game, but I'm not a piece of meat to simulate my brain. The night is young, so are we. Let's just get to know each other slow and easily. Take my hand, let's hit the floor. Shake our bodies to the music, maybe then you'll scout. So come on, baby, won't you show some class? Why'd you have to move so fast? We don't have to take our clothes off to have a good time. We could dance and party all night and drink some cherry wine. Just slow down if you want me. A man wants to be approached cool and romantically. I've got needs, just like you. And if the conversation's good, vibrations through and through. So come on, baby, won't you show some class? Why'd you have to move so fast? We don't have to take our clothes off to have a good time. Oh no, we could dance and party all night and drink some cherry wine. And we don't have to take our clothes off, boy, to have a good time. Oh no, we could dance and party all night and drink some cherry wine.
You are listening to Musician Talk with me, Pauline Jennings. You just heard Northfield High School student Peyton Sullivan on a song we recorded post-interview, so you'd have a chance to hear her wonderful voice. Now, back to our discussion. So back to Rock and Roll Revival. You said you're doing 2 or 3 songs, Ella. One's a solo. What else are you doing?
I am a backup dancer for the song Legal Man, and I will be in the opening number as a dancer as well.
Got it. And so are you also singing when you're dancing, or is that you're either a singer or a dancer for the show?
You can be a singer who also is doing a dance on a smaller scale.
Got it.
I believe all of the backup singers have dances, which our choreographer has catered towards standing at a microphone.
Yeah.
So there's a lot less movement. But if you're a dancer, then you are not simultaneously singing because there's so much movement and you'd be very out of breath.
Got it. So Peyton, you're doing Girls Just Want to Have Fun. Are you doing any other songs?
Yeah, so I'm in like the 80s medley group. So it's Manic Monday, Vacation, and then Girls Just Want to Have Fun.
Oh,
And then I'm
fun.
also in the opener and the closer.
Got it. Are you dancing?
Yeah, I'm dancing in the opener and closer and then backup in the other 2.
Do you have a process for learning songs? And is it different when you're learning a solo than when you're learning something that you're singing with a group? I guess that's more Ella because you're still in choir.
So if I'm learning a song for rock and roll, I don't get sheet music. So what I do is I put that song on repeat for hours on end until I can sing it when I'm sleeping. And that includes if I'm singing a lead or if I'm singing backup on that song, because listening to it over and over again will help me get a better idea of the chord structure and therefore the harmonies. So that's my process for rock and roll. For choir, I do a lot of listening to the recordings that our choir director, Mr. Eastman, puts out on Schoology. But I also like to, if I'm having trouble with a particular section, I'll plunk it out on a piano with the sheet music.
So you do read music?
I do read music for choir.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great. That helps a lot in choir. You don't have to rely just on a recording. You can actually read the music. Peyton, how about you? How do you learn songs that you have to sing?
Yeah, same as Ella. I think I just listen to them over and over again until I have it down.
Got it. I think that's how most of singers do it. But then you find also that if you're singing along with the original artist, you think you know the song, and then you get together with the band and you don't have them kind of prompting you on entrances, or you think you have the note, but really you're hearing them first just a split second and then you're singing it, right? It sounds like, oh wait, I didn't know, I thought I knew this song. Have you ever had that happen to you?
Yeah, the first time that I sung with the band this year, it was not good. I did not know when my entrances were. It was just horrible, but now it's fine.
I've been doing this for 100 years, so I've learned, and I'm still learning of, okay, between these two verses, there's 2 guitar licks. Or, I mean, actually writing that down with your lyrics when you're learning the song, so that you're learning that along with all the other stuff that you're learning. Do you find anything difficult with the show?
The dancing was definitely hard for me at first. I had a lot of stuff going on in my life, and it was very difficult to focus on getting down the dance, but I have it down fine now. Mainly, I'm just struggling with the opener and closer dance
Got it.
because we haven't really had time to work on that because we've been focusing on just your group songs.
Sure.
I think everyone's on that page, trying to focus on the opener and closer now.
Oh, exciting. Are you struggling with anything with the show, Ella?
I'm still learning my dances. I
Got
have
it.
0 dance experience, and I'm in one of the hardest dances in the show, and there's a lot of ballet moves. Cher keep using ballet terms, and I have to keep raising my hand. But I'm doing a lot of independent rehearsal.
Good for you. Putting in the work.
Yeah, knock on wood.
Yes, absolutely. I have no doubt. You both talked a little bit about how music affects you and why it's important to you. Any thoughts on why it's important in our culture?
I think just as it's an emotional outlet for me individually, for Peyton individually, for every single singer individually, I believe that songs have the power to provide an emotional outlet for groups of people, for society as a whole. There are reasons that songs get popular, and that's because they resonate with people. That's because people are feeling the things that the singers are feeling. That's because people want to listen to sad music when they're sad. It would be a more emotionally repressed world if we had not figured out how to write and sing music.
Hear, hear. Well said. How about you, Peyton?
I agree with everything Alice said. Definitely. It's a great escape for everyone.
Do you guys have a favorite moment on stage?
I think for me, probably Rock and Roll 2 years ago, the last show, because I had no nerves by the last show, and it was just all fun for me.
You mean the last performance of that show?
Yeah.
Wow, wonderful. Anything come to mind, Ella?
I think my favorite part of really any show is when you're standing in the wings, right before you go on. Because you're still yourself, and you know that you've got your part, hopefully. And you're surrounded by your castmates, or by your backup singers, or by your fellow dancers. And you have that moment of community, and then you immediately go on and perform your craft, which is what you've been leading up to for usually months.
Right. Well, that's a great place to leave it, and a great sentiment for everybody to think about. The anticipation of doing your craft That's a wonderful thought. Thank you so much for taking some time to sit down and talk to me and for coming over to record those songs. You guys sound great. And I look forward so much to seeing the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We are looking forward to you seeing it.
Oh, yes. I'll come and say hi after the show. I'll sneak backstage or something. So take care and have a great show.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks to Rock and Roll Revival 25 singer-soloists Ella and Peyton for joining me for this wonderful conversation about the upcoming live outdoor show May 14th through 16th. I'm so glad that they agreed to come into Record U Studio to record a song I could share with you today. Oh, by the way, if you or someone you love would like to record their voice or band, please contact me at recordu@gmail.com. So many thanks to you for listening to Musician Talk on the One, KYMN. Have a terrific day.